I didn't hear. Fantastic. So, welcome to Banner and Chance. Don't forget to log on to Twitch. Hey, we've got a lot going on tonight. We have two new players. We heard their voices last time, and we're going to get a chance to see just how they roll with us tonight. So, let's first go around the table. We're going to hear from our, I would say, Banner and Chance Classic, and then we'll hear from our two new players. So, kick us off, please, Shady.
Hello, I am Shady, and I play Runt. She is a young human rogue.
Hi, I'm Luna, and I play Geen. She is a human monk.
And I'm Brad, and I play Rogar Neurixius, the Dragonborn Paladin.
Awesome. And we've got two new people with us tonight. So first I'm going to introduce Becca. Becca, why don't you tell us about your character a little bit?
Hi, I am Becca, and I am playing Alphabee's Greyrook, also known as Bee, and she is a Shatterkai Twilight Cleric.
Woof. And...
What's up, guys? It's Noel. I'm playing Wolfgang Greyrook, who is a Shatterkai Ink Bard, is the nickname we've come up with.
So we're gonna see what all that means very, very quickly. First, let's talk a little bit about what happened last time on Banner and Chance. Whew. Well, our party made it to the waters of the Sea of Fallen Stars. They're on board, or were on board, the second fastest ship that they know of. Possibly the fastest now with how lightly it's loaded. This is the Dancing Sword. They gained and gained and gained upon their quarry, which was the ship of Karathur, the Shadow's Glint. They tracked the ship and they followed it into the center of the sea. And they came upon these strange obelisk-type geological features. And as they followed them inside, suddenly they realized that the natural wind around them had died down, and any magical wind, any magical speed that they had managed to conjure with the several wizards and witches that were on board was quelled and suppressed. And both ships slipped forward and then stopped. Soon they were set upon by an oared galley, which, with a battering ram front, dove its nose deep into the side of the Dancing Sword. Our party boarded the galley, and soon, along with the crew of the Dancing Sword, were engaged in a ferocious melee. Once they had secured the ship, they heard of a rumor of a witch trapped in a sarcophagus below deck on this galley. They went down and indeed found one empty and one still locked sarcophagi. They opened it up and were met with a surprise. But before any of this happened, we're going to roll the clock back. It's a different night, several days, perhaps weeks beforehand, and we find ourselves on the deck of this same ship, not stove into the corner of the Dancing Sword, but instead sailing under a clear night sky and calm waters. At the bow of the ship stand two Shatterkai. The first is a female Shatterkai looking out over the water.
Beautiful. These nights on the Sea of Fallen Stars. I'll never get over it.
Don't miss looking over my back, sis.
Maybe we've finally done it, brother. Maybe we can stop running.
I mean, could be, or maybe the sea air is getting to you. Either way.
As they talk, a nervous shipmate emerges from the cabin behind them, approaches them. He tips his hat. "Good evening, Althebes." And nodding to the male Shatterkai, "Evening, Rook. The captain be asking for both of ye. He'd like you to share a drink in his quarters, if you please." With a small bow, he excuses himself.
That's a first.
Well, we've faithfully served the captain for 3 months, and he's kept us clear of prying eyes and sharp ears. Plus, he'll have better liquor than the grog we've been getting otherwise.
Okay, see, now I'm interested. That's fine.
The two of you head below deck, and soon you find yourself outside the captain's quarters. B, Rook, come in. It's time we celebrate. Aye, here, I've got fresh 5 gold for each of you. My gift.
This is very kind, Captain, but may I ask why?
Well, it's never been more fair, and it's I that find you in my employ. I can honestly say that these last 100 or so days have been most agreeable for me. Here, let's share a glass of my favorite gin, and we'll have a toast, the 3 of us here in my cabin. Captain gets up and he removes a bottle from a dark black cabinet. The bottle is light blue. He pours 3 small glasses and hands them around.
This better be the good stuff, Cap.
Oh, it's only the good stuff for you there, Rook. Why, you've both brought such spice and light to our crew. I can say that without one daft thought in my head. So, raising his glass, here's to you, B, and that to you, Rook. I can honestly say tonight I've realized you are the single most valuable crew members I've ever had aboard the Stinging Nettle. So, a toast to you, please. Let us toast to wealth and spice and laughter. Raise a glass with me, please.
And gin.
And gin.
To wealth, spice, and laughter.
And your health. Oh, that's good stuff.
I'm gonna need another.
Let that one settle in and we'll see. At once you can see why this is the captain's favorite spirit. Your mouths are filled with the flavors of a forest meadow, tall pine, juniper, violet in your nose, almonds, wild roses. It all is so clear, and you can taste the day as if you were laying in a summer meadow, letting the sun beat down on your skin. The smell of wild clover and timothy in the air, yarrow under your fingers. It's a soft meadow, almost like a bed. So soft, with a sky of copper and clouds that form the canopy. This is the last thing that you remember. Almost in unison, the two of you awake, and you find yourself cold, unexpectedly cold. You're surrounded by metal. You can smell it. This metal frames your form and is close, as though you're in a box that's shaped just around your body. There's no light, and each of you know where you are. You know that you're inside the Silver Maidens. As the world comes back into focus, you can feel that your flesh has been pierced by sharp barbs against the wall. It's in your back and your hips. They must have found entry, dozens of them, as you slept, and you can feel the blood is dripping down your arms, off your fingertips, down your leg, and into your boot. Rook, as you peel yourself away and be slightly after, you can hear a sick ripping sound as they emerge from your skin and then have to tear away from the dried blood and cloth of your garments.
Rook?
Don't speak, love.
What? Why not?
When you do, Althebes, you can see glints of light as the needles inside these silver maidens grow towards you. You can feel them growing in your back, and you're forced to move forward in the sarcophagus as the entire inner diameter shrinks around you with pointed threats. With every word that you speak, they grow longer. Suddenly, painfully, you have to remain in your cage. This lasts for days, perhaps. And it's not as you awake from your meditative stance by the jarring of the boat and the drums and the familiar sound of your crewmates rushing to the oars that you can say that something is going on. Suddenly, within these confines, you're both tossed as the ship, in one of its attacks that you're familiar with, has struck another. Only your elven agility saves you from being completely skewered on these needles, although you do take, both of you are perforated again as you slip into them. Then you hear fighting on board. You can feel the ship rounding around and arrows knocking into the side of it. And then ballista missiles hitting. One of these crashes through the deck after a high arcing strike. And Rook, you're surprised to see it smash through the front of your sarcophagus, through the belt, and bury itself deep into your abdomen, threatening to go towards the center of your pelvis.
I'm trying not to make a sound, but this hurts.
The pain is almost worth it, because the sarcophagus door now hangs open.
I'm not like latched down other than just the doors now open. There's no other.
You are latched down by this ballista bolt, which you can remove yourself from dropping low.
Yeah, I'll try to get out of that then.
Swinging the door open, letting yourself down off this spear, you fall to your knees in front of this sarcophagus. You see that your sister's still stands where it was before.
And how much did I take from the ballista?
You will take 18 points of piercing damage.
Okay. I am not tough. If I can't see anything, if all I see is the other sarcophagus, I'm gonna try and run over there and see if I can, after I get the jab or ballista out of me, if I can, I try to get over there and fiddle with the whatever strap is on and try to pull it out.
You do this, but before you can, and all the while as you're letting yourself down this, you can hear that the tumult upstairs, up above decks, has started to calm. The fighting that's going on on deck has begun to cease. And as you go over and you're taking a look and starting to examine how to open this, the mechanism actually doesn't appear that complex. However, you don't get a chance to do it because the next thing you hear is footfalls coming down the stairs and into the hold.
And there's no other rooms in the hold. It's just one.
Just one. This area is kind of an open area. There are barrels. There are piles of rope. There's spare sailcloth. There is some merchant goods. You can see that there are shelves, some of which have been toppled.
I mean, if I have enough movement, I'll just hide somewhere so that
You hide behind the nearest stack of ropes and whatnot.
And I'm also going to try and see if I can arm myself too. Do I see any of?
Luckily enough, and as they had put you into this and collected your equipment, it is actually sitting there. What you were wearing in the captain's cabin is sitting there in 2 crates,
Okay.
seemingly complete and untouched.
Wow. All right.
You notice yours and you notice your sister's.
Okay, so I'm not going to worry about anything other than getting some kind of weapon into my hand. So I'll take my rapier and I'll take my sister's war pick and just one in each hand,
Okay.
and then hide as quickly as I can.
All right. The first thing that you see is 2 strangers emerge into the hold. They don't really poke around a whole bunch. They head almost directly for the sarcophagi. They notice that yours is closed. You can see them hiding there in this tangle of rope from this vantage point, and they see, and then they head for your sisters. The largest of these strangers, a dragonborn, armed, and both of them have the smell of battle on them. Begins to look at the lock that you were just examining. There's a large pin in it. He reaches down and he withdraws it. The dragonborn then slides open the door. Now, standing in front of you, directly in front of you, is a smaller, dark-haired fighter, strangely dressed. Strange types of tattoos on her forearms. A different type of look about her. And I'll let you, before they do anything else, I'd let you choose what you're going to do.
Well, I'm going to get as close as I can to some kind of enemy, so I'm in striking distance. If
That would be the monk.
yeah, sure. And I'll just try and get as close as I can. When they unlock, or if I see them opening the door, right? So
And you see your sister now.
I see it there. Okay, so if I can see my actual sister, then whoever's in front of me is just in my way to get to her. So screw it. I'm gonna just take like the rapier and lay it face down on the right shoulder of the monk in front of me, with the actual edge facing in.
Geen, you feel cold steel against your throat. A feeling that you're familiar with and isn't any more comfortable this time. And suddenly a voice behind you says,
Well, what do we have here, sister?
And I will step out and be staring the Dragonborn dead in the eye.
everybody roll initiative, please.
Hi guys, what's up? Nice to meet you. First roll, new campaign, new group.
All right. 20 to 25 or over.
25.
That was for Beck. Pardon me, 25 for Geen.
Geen 25.
Okay.
21.
B is, ooh,
21 Rook.
B is 20.
20 B.
13.
13 for Rogar. Shady, I'll have you roll anyway. Even though
I
you're right
did.
now. Great.
14.
14. All right. Shady,
Yes.
currently you are looking for the captain's sword. You are not here yet. We'll keep your number in initiative order if we need it. And we'll get to you in a minute. Geen, the action is yours.
Oh man. Oh man. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. Is he right behind me, or like right up against me, or like within arm's length?
Yes, his wrist is over you. You
Right.
You're not looking back. You
Mhm.
can feel that there's a blade, a rapier.
Right.
Hand
But I
on
mean,
your
like,
shoulder.
can I feel like his body is right behind mine?
Rook, were you saddled right up next to her?
No, I'd be like enough so that the rapier was next to her neck, but not right behind her.
So you're straight armed, basically.
Okay.
Duelist style.
You may not know that, but he is an arm's reach. You don't feel him, and he's an arm's reach away.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay, then I can't do that. Okay. Still got my katana in my hand. And I guess with the fear of what happened weeks ago when I last had something against my throat, just keeping my arm down, I'm just going to call out, Rogar. And that's my action.
Rogar, you hear this. You can't act just yet, sorry, but Rook, you're the next to go. Rook B, Rogar.
Okay, so she'll say that, and I'll go, Dragon, fuck away from my sister, and you move 3 steps to the right. Let's just talk this out.
Can't move 3 steps to the right if your sword is on my right.
Don't worry, it's gonna move with you. And I'll just like slowly start to inch it. I'll leave it there until she starts moving, and then I'll just let it sit on her shoulder as she's moving.
So you feel the rapier float along with you. B,
Everybody be easy.
you are unarmed.
I will move to the left so Rook can toss me my war pick.
Okay. And will that be your action?
And I will continue staring at the dragonborn, and that is my action.
No. So you see a pick sort of sail through the air and come into view in your peripheral, Rogar. What would you like to do?
Placing my hand on the hilt of my sword, I'll keep it to where I can look at both of them, just with a slight swivel of my head. What's your plan then?
Freedom. That's about it. I don't know how you got here, why you're in our way, but you can either keep your hand off that big sword of yours, mate, or you can lose your hand. She can lose her head. Pick one.
We mean no harm. We're just looking for someone. It's obviously not you, so put it down.
Can I insight check? I guess it's not my turn. If it's still an initiative, then if we are, then whatever. But
We are, but we'll have a round of talk here if you'd like. And then
yeah, can I insight check to see like how skittish is this monk looking? Is she like, if I take my blade away, is she gonna go straight for her? Like, how would I like? There's probably no way to really tell. But
Keen, if you don't mind, what I would say is, think of a coiled viper. Maybe not as nervous, but Keen, if you've got.
To be quite honest, I've thought about this, and from what happened before when she was kidnapped and had a sword to her throat, what happened straight after that with the ensuing short battle and Clara's death, this girl's got some PTSD trauma going on. So she's got her sword in her hand, but she's frozen in place.
Okay.
If no one's gonna do anything, I'm gonna go. I'm taking a leap of faith here, and I'm gonna just pull the rapier, not back, but away from the neck. So it's still like out if I need to, like, but like just away.
So you're motioning it away. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just leaving it away. Right, now you gotta come the next half.
I'll hold my hand out for Geen to grab. Come
take-
quickly.
Hold out my left hand and take it.
And while she's moving, I will move next to Rook.
The two pair face off now.
You have an interesting way of thanking someone for letting her out.
Oh. Yeah. Sticks and stones me.
Why were you in there anyway?
That's a question I think we'll leave to our good friend. And maybe a dagger. And I'll look at B, and I'll just, for the life of me, I can't remember the captain's name, but I'll just ask in a question the last name. I think it was, oh my gosh, I can't remember now. I'll go to my notes, but I can't get to it.
Krenz.
Krins.
Captain.
I'll just look at B and ask, like, are we looking for Krins then?
I want him.
Preferably alive. And then?
I want him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And then I'll just start to move back a little bit. I'll head toward the table. If you don't mind, while everyone's staying really nice and calm, I'm gonna go over here. And I'll just like slowly, well, I take one step. Very good. And I'll just walk back toward where our stuff is and just like stand behind a table like that. So some
Okay.
distance between, and pull my sister at the same time. So now there's some distance maybe between us.
So you move backwards in a non-challenging way.
Mm.
All
Okay.
right.
Yes.
It wasn't her.
No.
Now what do we do?
I was asked to make an Arcana check the last time.
Pardon me, religion
Yeah.
check.
Okay. That's more along the lines of what I'm talking about. That would be a 22.
Nice.
You are aware that that this female dusk elf has adornments, and I'll let you describe them, B, but they are of the goddess Selune.
Yes, so she is all in black, and on her arms and right side of her chest is the half moon with 7 stars. 5 stars symbol. And that's all you see of it. And then around her head is a circlet with the 7 stars and half moon.
So Rogar, this is very clearly to you the religious symbology of the moon goddess.
While he's looking at her, I don't know how good your passive is, but if it's good, you'd see Rook take B's hand, and then you'd just see him start to tap with 3 of the first of his left hand and fingers into the palm of her hand, like really, really, really rapidly.
Why did they have you two locked up? A priestess of Selene?
Your guess is as good as mine. You thought we were safe here.
You're on a pirate vessel. One that's attacked our ship.
Pirate vessels are good places to get lost.
I'm going to let you get stuck. Yeah.
What will you do now?
Well, I'm gonna go find that captain.
Your captain?
Clearly, he's not my captain anymore. He locked me in this thing.
You worked on this ship?
I'm gonna look over at Rook.
You probably want to get out of her way.
Rogar runs running around on this ship.
What does your friend look like?
She's small. Smaller than me. Gold hair.
I'll look over
Black
at Rook.
clothes.
We'll leave her alone. I just want the captain.
She's looking for the captain's sword.
Well, I don't want the sword. I want the man. She can have the sword.
Wow, this is really awkward. So I'm gonna just start putting stuff on, if you don't mind. And I just like slowly put the rapier away.
Have
One
I
thing-
noticed yet how badly Rook is bleeding?
You have, and what I'd like you to do, Rook, is just dock another 6 points from profuse blood loss.
Do you want to make that a little bit more because I'm not doing bad. I don't know
Nope,
how much-
six is good for me. Yeah.
I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
Is
There you
is our stuff within arm's reach?
Yes.
I'm putting stuff on. I'm putting the
Okay, so I'm gonna swipe my medicine kit out of there.
Okay, we are going to say that for now, unless anybody wants to do anything else, that the need for initiative order has passed, obviously. So we're going to continue on. You are watching these two Shatterkai get dressed, Geen and Rogar.
Rogar, we still need to find that ship. Should we just leave? It wasn't her.
I'm sorry, wasn't who?
No one. It's not important.
I'm just gonna kind of look over at Geen, like, okay. While I'm patching Rook up.
Ow, Jesus! It's the shoulder. Fuck's sake! Every fucking time.
Well, maybe you shouldn't get hurt.
You know what?
So-
It's an old injury. All the same.
So you find yourself in the hull of this galley. Nobody seems to be coming down. You can hear that there is a lot of movement up top, but whoever was down here seems to have been up on deck at the time. Runt, after leaving the scene where the orc had been taken captive, this was the orc that Rogar, with help, had knocked down to a single hit point. You began to search the ship. So why don't you just tell me where would you like to look?
Is there any fighting still going on at all?
No.
Okay.
What's happening is we have several corpses around. There is the odd arrow that continues to be long bombed from the glint. A few of these have actually found their mark, and you can see that there are fighters from both ships, 2 or 3 of them that have been struck with arrows. Some of them are hanging over the side. The archers on the dancing sword have continued to volley back. Other than that, farther back where it's a little less sort of under the gunnels and everybody's sort of looking warily up at these arrows that are flying in randomly. But you see that the crew, what remains of them, have the remaining 12 or so pirates bound on their knees and hands tied behind their back.
Okay. I'm like I pictured her like you mentioned, guys getting hit with arrows and then leaning on the railing. I'm picturing her just like nonchalantly shoving people.
So sploosh, you know.
And walking by any dead body that looks like it's from the ship and picking up the sword, examining it for a second if they have one, and then if it doesn't look captain enough, she's gonna and throw it to the side.
Sure.
And then make her way up to where the people are being held.
Go through and just roll a quick investigation for me.
12.
You managed to find several swords. Some of them are cast off. Most of them are just sort of standard short swords. There's nothing that short swords, you know, short swords, rapiers. What's the word I'm looking for here? Cutlass and curved bladed. Come on, help me out. I don't know why I can't come to it. Scimitars, thanks.
Yeah.
So you find an assortment of these things. You find hammers. You find a cleaver from a hag that has been like a sea witch that had been.
I'm taking that.
Sure. So it's a large sort of bone cleaver. There are harpoons lying around. There are bill hooks lying around. You don't see a sword, though. Proper.
Well, then it's time to do some interrogation.
Sure. In front of you stand a mixed crew. You see that there is 3 women among them. One much older than the others, missing an eye and a hand. 2 sort of middle-aged women. There are the remainder are men, mixed up of 2 of which are half orc. One of those is the one that's very bloodied and sort of snarls at you. He seems to be the most well dressed.
Okay. Then you said they're on their knees, bound.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go and kneel down so that we're level with each other. And then the one that looks the most well dressed.
So you won't have to kneel down very far because even at his knees, he's standing as tall as you are. And he looks at you.
Hello, if I might ask you a question, do you maybe have a sword?
Take your pick.
I'm looking for a very special sword. It's a captain sword, and I don't know what that looks like, so if you could explain it to me, that would be very nice, thank you.
Captain's sword is a sign of station.
Yes, and it's mine now, so I need it. So if you could let me know what it looks like, please. I'm trying to be nice. You don't want me to not be nice.
You seem to really want it. Why don't you take a few of your friends and go in the back and take a look? You'll find it in the captain's quarters.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. You see, now I don't have to cut off your hands.
And then I'm gonna make my way.
It's a special event. He calls after you. Take as many of your friends as you can.
Oh, that does not sound good. Okay. Is there like a door or something?
Yep, you go through this. You see that there is a staircase that you saw your friends
I am
descend
being
down.
super careful and keeping my eyes peeled for
Yep.
tribute traps.
Straight back towards the back of the boat, there is a door, which is at the very back, center of the hallway, very back, at the stern of the ship.
I'm going to investigate it.
Mm-hmm. It is
Right.
a door. I'm kidding. It's
Okay.
louvered. Yeah. A simple handle, leather strap, no lock.
21. I'm looking for traps around it.
Sure. You are unable to find any traps. It is a simple wooden peg that can be slid back. for securing the door in rough weather.
Well, I'm gonna open that door.
The door swings open. Ahead of you, you see a dark black cabinet with several drawers on it and two little doors. You see a bed. There is a desk that has a couple of charts on it, some papers. There is a wardrobe. The wardrobe is open. And in that you can see that there's hanging shifts and trousers. And
What does the bed look like?
the bed is unmade. Looks like it's relatively plush. It's suspended. It hangs away from the wall. There is a rope on each end that holds it as a descending shelf. It suspends it over the floor, so it can be tucked away if needed.
All right. Well, I guess I will search the room for a sword
Sure.
and a 21 again.
Okay. Indeed, it's not hard to spot once you are on the in the back of the room. You can take a look up and see that the sword is in fact hanging or on two pegs above the captain's door.
This is such a bad idea, but she's now enamored with this sword, so she's just gonna grab it.
You do, and it comes free in your hand. It doesn't. Well, you can go ahead and you can roll a. What would this be? What do you want to know about it? It's bejeweled.
She doesn't want to know anything about it. She's just swinging it, pretending like she's the captain of this ship.
Avasti mateys! Go do something to the stairs!
So go ahead and roll perception for me.
Oh god. 10. So terrible.
There's the other shoe.
As you remove the sword, nothing out of the ordinary. The two pegs that it's hanging on go click as the weight is removed from the sword.
Okay.
Gonna pretend duel my way out. If I
Okay.
can.
You head back in out the door, and you are in a hallway. It's about this time that you can hear. Well, I'm just going to go back downstairs for a moment. You're dressed, the two of you, Geen and Rogar. What did you want?
We should go.
We have no more quarry with you. Let us pass.
No
I'm on
one's
your way.
stopping me.
As you buckle the last of your belts and garments, the Dragonborn and the monk pass you by and begin to go up the stairs.
As I go past them one more time, I'm gonna take one more look at their faces.
As she goes past and gets like maybe 5 feet behind me, I go, John,
Eh?
and then and then I'm just like, go back to
Seem-
putting stuff on.
The two of you are now halfway, or you're at the bottom of the stairs, Rogar and Geen.
Let's get Runt. We need to get to that other ship.
Agreed.
As you come out the top of the stairs, there is Runt, parrying some unseen bandit with this gaudy short sword. Seems to be the hilt is covered with jewels, and it's gold, and the silver blade is about a foot and a half long.
Hey guys, have a look. Look, you can see I am the captain now. So I guess while you're on the ship, you're going to have to listen to me. Okay. First of all, We should. Okay, what is it? What does the captain? Rogar, what's the captain say?
Runt, you don't want to be a captain of this crew.
But, I think I do.
Roka, we need to get back to our ship.
No, we don't need our ship. We have this ship. We have the run ship now. So, like, what do you want to do? I'll tell them to do it.
She has a good point. Our ship isn't working right now.
See, watch this.
I'm gonna randomly point at somebody and be like,
Hey, here! Go
What?
look busy, or I'm going to stab you.
This is one of the crew members from the Dancing Sword. He's got somebody in custody, and you can see that he's moving towards the rail. Sort of looks at Runt, and then grabs the pirate and kind of half tosses him into the arms of one of the waiting crewmen on the Dancing Sword.
Good job, Avasti Hardy, or something. Okay, so where do we go?
We need to get to that ship.
Okay. Alright, I don't really know what to do with this thing, so here you go, Laura. You can be captain now.
I'm gonna hand him the sword.
Rogar, when you take a look at this, go ahead and just roll. Well, you can roll perception if you want.
"12."
It's lighter than you would have expected. Looking at it.
Is Captain Trasty still nearby?
Captain Shrasti was on the quarterdeck. When you emerge outside, you see that she's being carried over the rail of her own ship, as it seems that they're moving the prisoners and most of the crew into it. You can see as she's being sort of carried or helped over, she's still quite badly hurt, and she looks down over the side and she starts to motion and talk to her halfling companion, and they're motioning down at where the two ships are locked together. And then you can see really intently that they're looking down at the damage that's been caused to their ship above the waterline. And she is really examining things closely.
I'll call out to her. "Captain!"
Yes, Brother Rogar.
"What do we do?"
Well, if the wind picks up, we're going to have to make sail.
There's nothing else that we can do here. We should get back on board.
Friend,
Yes.
when you found that sword, was there anyone with it?
No, it's just hanging in this room about surf. Like, hello, this is important. Why would you not keep this with you?
So you saw no captain?
No, there's the guy. He's all got the fancy clothes, and I was like, "Where's the captain's sword?" Because I thought he was the captain, and he said it's back there. So I went and I grabbed it.
I'm just gonna keep looking at the door that leads downstairs, waiting to see if they come up onto deck.
Rogar, what you see just before we get there is you see the captain beginning to hurry over and give some instructions to people. She's pointing down at the two boats. She's pointing up at the ropes that are securing the boats together. They start to chatter nervously amongst them, and then she goes into her own towards her own office.
They're going to try and cast off this vessel.
The movement on the the boat is on the Dancing Sword is really focused on getting the prisoners below deck stowed. You can see that that's what's happening right now. There are about 4 people on the rails, again looking at the damage and what's happening.
I too will wait for a moment to see if the 2 Shadar-kai emerge, but only a moment.
Okay. Geen, pardon me, B and Rook.
So once we're dressed, I'm just gonna walk out the door behind everybody.
Yeah,
We'll
I'm
be
following her.
pretty close behind them coming up the stairs.
Can we feel Can we feel this dampening feeling from the area? Has it the magic dampening? Is
Yeah. In fact, you would have had experience as you, if you try to cast anything at this point, you're going to feel like you are suppressed. You're not sure. You haven't tried to cast anything at this point, but
I have a question.
as a fae, you can hear that there's something off.
Yeah, and when we come up the stairs and open that door, 2 things. Would we see the sword that Runt? I don't know if she tossed it
Rogar's
aside.
holding it.
Rogar's holding it. Okay, we wouldn't see him holding it, would we?
Yep, you can see it.
If we do we know what that means?
You know that's the captain's sword, and it was in the cabin. Yep.
But we wouldn't know that it was the click thing. Like it wouldn't be like you know what I mean? Like that's gone from its location.
That's right. So,
Okay.
the 5 of you now are on the main deck in the hall. Rogar, you're right at the doorway of this quarterdeck. There's a few crewmen from the Dancing Sword on the boat. They are bustling around. You can see them starting to work the rope and pulling it, and noticing it, and getting a little bit nervous. There's 2 things that you notice. First is that the galley in which you're on seems to be lower in the water than it was before. And how it's tied to the boat, the Dancing Sword, is actually causing the Dancing Sword to list slightly. And you and the sailors on board notice this. And the chatter starts to pick up. The second thing that all of you notice is the pleasant breeze that has come. And that's when your ears perk up to the sound of flapping sails. As the natural wind of the area begins to return.
Is Kren still on this boat or no?
You see no one save a few corpses.
When those 2 came out from under the ship, I'm going to try to hold Runt close to me, like from behind her, just put my hands over her shoulders and keep her close.
Okay. You are huddled. You're the last people more or less on this boat, except for the 2 that are trying now. You can hear them beginning to start to call to their comrades. The calls are clear. First of all, you hear, "The wind! It's back!" And someone's up on the crow's nest, pointing at the Shadow's Glint. The Shadow's Glint sails have dropped and begun to fill with air. And the boat begins to move away from you.
As we are getting out of that hallway and heading toward like the main area where everyone's at, I'm just gonna turn to B. No, wait. I'm not leaving without that bottle of gin. I'm either gonna drink the rest of it or shove the whole thing down his throat. And I walk straight into the captain's quarters and try to find that exact same bottle that has the blue liquid.
Go into the dark black cabinet and you can find the bottle is there.
That's mine.
We'll be like, let's go.
Yeah, just a minute. I'm also going to look through the
Eyes on
cupboard
him.
really quick to see if there's anything else of value that's in the same cupboard without taking the time to look around the rest of the place.
Yeah, go ahead. Very quickly. Just roll investigation very quickly, please.
Oh, I only have a +0. Not great. 10.
Yep. You can find 6 gold pieces that you can see immediately.
Right, be it out. Yeah. Shovel in. Take
You're
the
like,
drink.
we're leaving without you.
You're not going to leave without me.
Watch me.
You're at the rail. You can choose to hop over or stay where you are. Runt. You are standing there. Captain of your ship.
Hooray.
I'm kind of squeezing Runt a little too hard.
Okay.
Ken?
Hmm?
Ken?
Hmm?
It's, I can't breathe.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now the crew is motioning you on board. You've got to get back to the sword. This boat is taking on water. We have to try to free it.
Is the captain still on board?
You haven't seen her emerge.
She's gone on to the other ship, correct?
Yep,
the
and
only
into
people
her
left on
cabins.
the only people left on the Nettle are just the two of us then.
Nope, the 5 of you and
Five,
2
okay.
crew members. Okay. Game.
Rogar.
Yep.
Am I next to Rogar?
Go ahead.
Rogar,
You're all together. Yep.
Yes.
should we let them on our ship?
You see Rook is tapping B's hand again in the palm.
They'd be
They have-
severely outnumbered.
They have nowhere else to go.
I feel like I'm really missing something here.
Oh, you found your friend.
It's short. God.
Who are the pretty people?
You can see one of the drow elf on the other boat is now motioning to you, Rogar, and he's asking you to come.
All right. I will take Run from Gein's arms and give her a leg up so that she can grab onto the netting and haul herself aboard.
Okay.
If I can't find the captain, if I don't see her, I'm just gonna start yelling out of the top of my lungs, "Parlay!"
Okay. So are you? Yeah. You don't see her.
Yeah.
And these 3 have jumped over the rail. And
Are Rogar and I still on the boat? I
Rogar,
haven't
you've gone
jumped
to
over
join.
yet.
Okay, you haven't. So
No.
Rogar, you are now the boat is dangerously listing. You can see that it's starting to take on a lot of water, and the deck of the flying of the dancing sword is now quite dangerously taut. When you come, Rogar, when you get to the drow, he's panicking and he's asking you. He's like, "Help me cut her away!" And you can see that there's the singe mark where you blew fire on the front of the boat, and a large blade, sort of battering ram, has buried itself in the timbers of the one of the dancing sword, and that like a bull's horn stuck into it, and that is one of the things that's holding this boat on. You can see other sailors are now chopping feverishly at the ropes and the grappling hooks that they had used to tie the boats together, and the entanglements. And when you come to this drow, he says to you, we have to get through this. We have to cut away this horn. I need you back, man.
Gein, let's go.
B and Rook are still on the.
Yeah, but
The
I'm
stinging
moving
nettle?
towards the other ship without anyone even fighting me.
Oh, okay.
If there's any of the extra ropes that are attached from their ship to the stinging nettle, I'm gonna run toward them. I got like I've got one dagger that I'll just pull out, and I'll start like sawing at each individual rope, and on the last one I'll try to grab a hold of it so I've got something to pull me.
Yeah, you can get onto something like that, and you're able to cut a few away and swing across. The minute you land, you can see that 3 of the crew member from the Dancing Sword realize that you're not from their crew, and they begin to sort of surround you. They haven't drawn weapons, but they're sort of holding cudgels and whatnot.
I'm gonna after seeing them get on the other boat, I'm gonna jump onto the rail, and then jump and try to grab onto Rogar's arm so he could pull me into the ship.
Okay,
No problem.
and where do we see you, Runt?
I'm watching the new people.
Okay, where are you standing?
Next to Rogar, I would imagine.
Okay, you are at the front of the boat, Rogar. There is a large timber. It looks like a curved piece of carved timber that is down from the rail about 8 feet below you, and prying up boards from the side of the boat as it's slightly turning its angle. You can hear, timber tearing and popping as this sort of threatens to wrench itself and twist itself deeper into the boat.
What does it look like needs to happen to ultimately free us?
The drow turns to you and says, "We have to chop it free or something. Lower me down, or I don't know."
I have an idea. Step back.
He does.
And I am going to divine smite the rope.
Okay, the rope or the log?
The log, whatever.
Whatever, the timber. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
That is a 22 for a dead-on strike. And expending aid instead. $21 points of damage.
Your sword buries itself deep inside, almost gets stuck as the divine energy severs most of this thing, but you're about halfway through. You're able to wrench your sword free and make for another strike. The other thing that you notice is that the crew are panicking at this point. There seems to be some sort of commotion at the back of the ship. They seem to be running around helter-skelter. Some of them are orderly, others are visibly shaken, and you can see that people bumping into each other. They're not quite sure what to do.
Okay, well, if I can get in another strike, that's an 18.
Yep.
And I will release another spell. This time I'll let go of Lesser Restoration. And that would be 24 points of damage.
And you'll use the restoration in what way?
Let go of the Lesser Restoration.
Oh, I see
as
what
a
you mean.
first level spell.
Sure.
So it hits harder.
Yeah. So that is able to cleave through this horn, and as soon as it does, you can see the boat begins to twist, and the horn falls inside the inner hull of the dancing sword, and this boat begins to sort of drift away and slip down at the starboard. And soon you can see your first command runt is quickly disappearing beneath the water. Okay, Geen,
Yes.
Runt, Rogar, you are on the deck. Women are moving around you quickly. You can see the halfling nervously, the first mate nervously up on the quarterdeck, shouting orders. You can see several people trying to wait for command, and they're standing by ropes, and they're not sure exactly what to do. No sign of the captain yet.
Is that group of people still surrounding Bee and Rook?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to go to that group and try to stand in between the group and the siblings facing the group. And with my arms out, just say, "Stop." And I'm going to turn around, look straight at Rook, and in Kozakuran, because I heard him speak to me in Kozakuran, I'm just going to say to him while looking at it straight into his eyes, "Shinjite ii no kai? Can I trust you?"
Rook doesn't say anything back. Just a smile. And then you see him start to tap the fingers of Bee's shoulder this time with this weird, like...
You need a captain. Yes?
You're not wrong, love.
Three of the men that you know around are now standing around you. These are sailors that you've met. Javan, Lahag, and Firth all say to you, "Who's this man to you?"
Oh, we're best friends. We go way back, like, what, 20 minutes ago? Half an hour? 45? I can't really tell time. No wind.
Just leave us. Go somewhere else. It's fine.
Can't do that, miss.
Look, this is a really lovely tea party, but I can actually feel myself tired as shit right now because I can't use anything fun. So if we can maybe just sail away from the dead zone, that would be really nice because I'm literally bleeding from everywhere.
We're waiting for orders.
Go find Shrasti. She'll give you orders. Or Rogar, just leave.
Okay. These three are suggesting that they take you, Rook, and you, Bee, and just ask you to go into a cabin, and they'll bring you to the cabin, bring you to the captain when they can.
Leave them to me.
Oh, before we go, the orc, the one who's dressed like a pump, did you get him?
He's with us downstairs.
I'm gonna look over at Rook.
Rent?
Now, they start to sort of muscle you through.
All right, yeah. Fucking hell.
Like,
Okay.
Rent,
Yeah, but sorry, I'm distracted.
come with me.
Rook and Bee, they take you into the galley portion of this. You can see that there is a woman, a cook of sorts. She has several injured people around her she's trying to tend to. They motion you to a corner and ask you to sit down.
I'm taking Runt and we're following. If Runt wants to follow, but if she
Okay.
doesn't, I'm following.
Oh yes,
Sure.
I want to follow the lady.
All right. So the four of you are now in the galley. Rogar, where are you?
Standing with a strange bejeweled sword that was thrust upon me
Okay.
by someone who wanted it and then didn't want it.
Okay. The halfling who you've met several times, Gorella, comes up to you, Rogar, and says, "You better mind the captain. She's been slit from ear to ear." And then she runs off and disappears back into the cabin without talking to anyone else or giving any instructions to the crew. Some of the crew overhear this and begin to kind of panic a little bit.
All right, I'll follow Gorilla.
She dodges down the first staircase, which goes to the lower hold. You're moving in behind her. She disappears for a moment. You turn around the corner. What you can see in front of you is the prisoners, 12 prisoners from the boat, are lined up along one wall. There's some stores, and there are roughly 6 of the Dancing Sword and the Lord's Alliance guards arrayed around them. There's also a couple of the sailors that you know, Gwait and Masad.
Well, I'm
Wait.
right on her heels.
She's not in front of you.
No.
Gwait pushes past you, Masat after him, and they head up the stairs. And the Lord Alliance guard says to you, Brother Rogar, what can we do for you?
I need to see the captain.
She's in her quarters, I would imagine, or on deck.
Will you let me by?
One floor up, sir. So you can head back up the stairs to where you know the captain's office is at the very end of the hallway towards the back of the boat, right below the quarterdeck.
Okay.
The door is closed.
I'll give it a polite knock.
No answer.
All right, then I'll go ahead and open the door.
You open the door. Captain is lying on her bunk.
Captain?
No answer.
Captain?
No answer.
I'll immediately go over to her and give her a very quick inspection. Is she breathing at all?
Nope. She's back is to you. When you pull her onto her back, you can see a very neat incision from ear to ear. Blood pouring down her clothes and saturating the bed linens. The galley door is about 12 feet down the hallway that you just came through. You had all seen Rogar rush past. Rogar will stick with you if you'd like to do anything else.
The priestess of Selene. Perhaps she can hold on to her spirit. Guerella!
Guerella is not anywhere near you.
Okay. Shout for another one of the hands. You there!
Sure. So one of the hands that is in the galley, trying to tend to some of the sick, you can see that there's the young boy Gallus, the captain's boy. He's suffered an injury to his wrist. He sticks his head out, as well as the one of the archers that you've seen around. And they start to move towards you. Yes, what can we do for you, sir?
Find the two who came from the other ship.
They're with us. They're right here in the galley. They're against the wall.
Bring the female.
Okay. They head in B. You now have these two crewmen in front of you saying, "You need to come with us, ma'am."
For what?
We're just told to bring you. Brother Rogar is saying.
By who?
Bring you. Brother Rogar. He's said to bring the female.
Bring her, you bring
Dusk
me.
Elf. Okay, come
Let's
with
all
us.
go together.
You pile out of the galley. They lead you. They point towards the door, and there is. You can see Rogar's form inside this door. He said to go in there.
So I'll walk in and be like, "You asked for me?"
You may.
I have not the ability. I need you to try and maintain her corpse. Her spirit. Bring it back.
Okay, are we still feeling suppressed at this point?
Yes.
So I'll go over there.
So religious magic, you can access it, but it feels distant.
I will go over there and check her out. See what's going on.
She is dead.
And I noticed that there's no shot at this, or
Spare the dying.
so I'll do the once over and make sure I can actually do something to help her. And then I will cast Spare the Dying.
Okay.
See if it works.
Sure. Would you like to tell me a little bit about that, please, while I grab my notes?
Sure. So you touch a living creature that has 0 hit points, and the creature becomes stable. The spell has no effect on undead or constructs. So I'll try and stabilize her as best as I can.
Okay.
Put her in a coma.
You do. I just need to know if there's anything else that do we need to perform any kind of a check for there it is.
No.
All right. The incision, the clean incision around her neck, closes. She takes a raspy breath and her eyes flit open. What? Oh.
I'll kneel before her and take her hands in mine and go ahead and give her back 15 hit points.
I'm just going to back up.
Oh. Where's that dusk elf?
I moved to the
Jesus.
corner of the room.
Him.
There's nothing around me.
Him. He did this to me. And she points at Rook.
He couldn't have.
I'm going to look at her and I'm going to look at him and be like, no.
You cut my throat.
That's way too clean of a cut. There's no way I'd be able to do that with this. And I hold up what looks like it's a rapier, but it's more like one of those Sultan's long style cutlasses. Like, it's serrated, love. I don't know.
Rogar, you apprehend that man.
I'm going to step in front of Rook.
Rogar, this is the captain speaking. That's an order.
Rogar, he was with us. He couldn't have left and then come back
Okay.
so quickly.
Can I don't know if it's I don't know how much magic we have, but one of my spells is disguise self. So I say maybe I'm good at trying to see if there's an image over the captain, if she's really her. I don't know.
You can, well, I guess you would roll.
On a check or
Sure, or insight. Yeah.
insight? Yeah. Let's go. I'm better at insight, I think. Let me see. Arcana. Oh my gosh. D&D Beyond, by the way, guys. Insight. Okay, that's not bad. 17.
No magical illusion here. This is a
Okay.
flesh and blood woman. You both realize that this is indeed the captain. Everybody in the room would care to check. Griffaro is at the door now. You guys got to get out here. We're going to lose this boat. Bill Corn is down at his side. He's like, "You are going to lose this boat.
Okay, can I insight check
They're
that?
getting away, guys."
Sorry, I thought you meant the boat we were on. Never mind.
No, not that boat. That boat, the Shadows Glimmer. The glint is getting away.
Rogar,
I don't have any answers.
The crew is working feverishly now. You can see that Guarella is up on the deck, on the quarterdeck, and she's pointing and charging people to do different things. The main mast has been raised, the main sail. The boat is now starting to lurch forward. You can hear sawing and hammering going on as makeshift repairs are trying to be made to the side of the boat as it begins to move forward slowly under this natural wind. The boat seems to be progressing forward.
Captain
Okay.
Trusty, you have to understand that we set them free. They were beneath deck.
My eyes saw one thing, and that was him, stalking on me, slicing my throat, and then I was gone. Now you take him into custody, or I will.
With
Try
which
it.
hands?
She whistles hard, and you can start to hear footfalls coming towards the cabin.
Yeah, bring more people. Then it'll be a fair fight.
There will be no fighting. There has to be an answer to this.
She says to the hands that are there, he stays in here. And she pushes past them and heads out onto the deck, and you can hear her begin to bark orders, and the boat begins again to pick up speed.
I just want to make it really fucking clear that we live in a world of magic. Yeah. No, nothing. Okay.
The the crewmen are sort of looking, side to side, and have just decided that no, they're going to follow the captain's orders and just attempt to keep you in this room.
I go lay down in the bed and start just plucking at the. I pull the violin from out.
Okay.
I'm stuck here.
What are the others doing?
I'm staring at the lady.
I'm grabbing the bottle of gin from Rook.
Okay. The captain is up, and she is out of the room. Rogar? Geen?
I'm staying in the room.
Okay.
I'll follow the captain out.
All right. You see the captain up on the deck. Bill Corm has chosen to follow you out of the room. Griffero is also with you. The captain looks down at you and says, "We're going to try to pull away from this godforsaken place and see if we can get some real magic in the sails. We're going to lose your boat, Rogar, if we don't." And she points, and you can see that the sails now of the other boat are quite distant, and they're quite far away. They're getting farther away by the minute.
Captain Trasty, I don't understand the law of the sea, but there's something I want you to have. And I'll draw forth the captain's sword from the other vessel.
She looks at it, and she says, "This is not a captain's blade. This is a toy. Costume."
What?
She says, "Look." She sort of pulls away one of the jewels and snaps it in half and says, "Glass. No self-respecting captain would hoist this. What is it going to be? No. Who are these people you bring on my boat, friend?"
I wish I knew. Their names are unknown to me, but they were being held captive by the other crew.
As you speak, one of the hands come up and says, "Captain, I think we've done it. I think we've got the worst of the hole closed. We've pounded in pitch and oakum. It should hold. We'll make repairs next time, but it'll keep the sea out well enough, Captain. We can pick up some more speed." She says, "Good enough, Gerald." She makes a couple of motions, and soon 2 more sails drop. And they catch a little more wind, and the boat begins to race forward again. With any luck, we'll catch a better wind than him.
What I can't fathom is how you saw the male when he was nowhere nearby.
I was in my cabin. I was with Gorella one moment. I turn around and he's there. Slit my throat, pushed me in the bed. Black. I can only tell you what I know, but I've got to get my boat out of these rocks, and we've got to complete our mission.
Even with an insight check, without an insight check, she's 100% serious.
100% serious.
All right, well, standing there gobsmacked, I'll let her walk away.
She goes back to the wheel, and she's helping one of the pilots trim it, and she turns to one of her hands and says, I need you to bring the ladies and the wizards on board. Bring whoever you can. We're going to need their magic when we come out of this. She says, look. And you can see that very often off in the distance, you can see that the Shadow's Glint is surrounded by some purple energy, and very, very faintly. And then you can see it begins to pull even farther away. We must be nearing the edge. Rogar, you are heading back down the stairs. You others, you are in the cabin. You can feel the boat is now picking up speed.
Rook's
Standing there.
Oh, sorry, go for it.
I'm just standing there, and I want to do a once over on Rook and just see what I can notice about him, just appearance wise, him lying on the bed.
Rook, you can give us a once over, please.
All right. No. So basically what you see is just a regular height, really sort of ashy gray skin. Like it looked like it might have been at one point pretty fair, like my sister, but it started to really darken over time. And just shock white hair on the top. And on the sides is this like kind of patchy salt and pepper black hair going back. He's absolutely covered in tattoos, like from head to toe, even all over his face. Most of the ink on his entire body is this weird silvery glowing ink. It's not quite a glow, but almost has like a metallic sheen to it. And there's a ton of tattoos, especially around the forehead, or especially around this side of the forehead and coming down over the eye. And there's some scarring in there and some other stuff. And then he's got this black long length coat on that has just like tons of buckles and tons of random stuff, and his hair is all these little trinkets, and like he's got like a bandana over it. It's just like quintessentially as pirate as you could possibly get. The coat constantly has this black, very, very, very light, almost like smoke drifting off of the whole coat. It doesn't smell like anything. It doesn't taste like anything. It's just kind of dropping. But it's really, 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 really. It's not as much as usual. And you think maybe that has something to do with the magic dampening. He's got one purple eye, one gold eye, and just piercings everywhere. And he's playing his violin. And he's actually, instead of using a bowstring on it, he's using what looks like he's taken a dagger, and one edge of the dagger has got a piece of string attached along the blade. He's playing it with a dagger. And you can see as he plays it, that's probably why there's like a ton of broken strings and it's looking really ratty, the violin. Speaking of playing the violin, I'm going to use this opportunity to use a little one of my class things and do a short rest, if that's okay.
Okay.
And also, since I'm playing, everyone around me gets an extra little boost too if they want to take a short rest.
Okay.
Yeah, I need it.
Right.
But I do have a question. Do I notice the special thing about Rook? Yes or no? Just
depends on.
Do I have to roll for it?
Depends on how good of he's trying to cover.
Mm-hmm.
You can see his face is covered in tattoos, so you'd have to have a decent enough. I don't know. It's up to whatever.
How close do you have to be? I guess I'm just standing away.
Just before you can notice anything else, one of the wizards that you know, Membaris, sticks his head in and says, Captain, you call... Oh, pardon me. And he's got his long pipe out. He says, she must be up on deck. And he turns and turns his heel and, come on, Clouda. And then another wizard follows him as they head out onto the deck.
This is a really, really disorganized ship. You guys have got some fuckery going on.
Indeed, it feels fairly disorganized.
We're not normally on a ship.
Hmm.
We're just seeking passage, chasing after another ship.
And then as you feel the ship start to bend in the next wave, you can hear Rook just kind of being like, yeah, tack left, 3 degrees, turning. So the wind's behind us. Cool.
Mhm.
Is he always like this?
Welcome to my life.
So am I on like house arrest, or how does this work? Like, eventually I'm gonna get out of here.
The three soldiers are looking around and kind of wondering why everybody's standing here. Then they perk their ears up as bells begin to ring. All hands is called, and so one of them decides to stay. The other two scatter. You stay, I'll go.
How about all of you go and Runt and I will stay?
And be like,
Brother Rogar, can you manage these?
I thought Rogar left.
Oh wait, he's up on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
He went
sorry.
upstairs.
He
Yeah.
is. The one is. Okay. Do you want to try to convince him?
Yeah. I want some alone time with the siblings and Runt.
Okay. All right.
Take me out to dinner first.
Can I help her with the persuasion by giving my best smile?
You can.
Okay.
while all of this is going on, I'm just gonna take another swig from the bottle.
Ooh, that was pretty good. I got an 18 on persuasion, if that counts.
He seems like he is thinking about it, and he's torn. I will.
I'm going to look at him and go, we're in the middle of the ocean.
Okay,
There's no place for us to go.
I'll be right back. You just stay here. I'll go and ask. And he sort of is confused. He runs off. Rogar, you're on deck. You can see now that the casters are beginning to make headway, and that familiar sensation of the boat being lifted and speeding along. And indeed, you can see that they have once again found their magical mojo and are gaining on the glint. The distance is now closing. Down on the deck, you can see that Griffaro is sort of looking anxiously out at the boat, and he's taken to checking over and repairing the ballista and arming it as best he can to try to get some semblance of ready. The crew looks rather sparse. It's not even the all hands call. There just doesn't seem to be as many people as one would like on the top of this boat to make it go, and they are struggling a little bit. You can see that 2 wizards and 1 witch are up on the quarterdeck casting. Griffaro on the forecastle, you on the main deck. You can see Bilk is running down and around you, and he sort of is looking up at you, and he kind of smiles a little bit, and then he runs back into the underside cabin, and he says, I guess I'll go check on our friends. And he runs back in. It was kind of funny to see him sliding up and down the ropes and being around the crow's nest and trying to play the sailor in the middle of all of this issue. Now, you have a few more minutes in the cabin itself, Keen.
Point of order, when that guy left, is the captain's door lockable?
There is a simple, not terribly, I mean, there's a simple latch.
Can I lock it?
Yep. Door's
I'm gonna
closed.
lock it.
When Geen locks locks it, you see Rook just turn to me and go, "That's fucking cute."
Yep. It's a little hook.
We the whole time that this has been going on, I'm guessing that both of us, and you can tell me, we've been measuring over and over and over and over until we realize magic's back. So the
Yep.
minute that there's some magic back, we would have looked at each other.
Yep. So the minute magic is back, indeed, you can feel that suppression is no longer there.
I don't have a jacket on, so if your perception's high enough, the scar that's right on the cleft bone of Rook would have been like grayish purple and would start to get bluer and bluer and bluer.
So since Runt has been staring at B this entire time, kind of enthralled, I mean, since I know what she looks like, could you kind of describe what she looks like?
Sure. She is kind of tall. She's got long black hair, very pale gray skin. She's covered in tattoos from the shoulders down. She has these twisting vines that cover her arms and legs with moons and stars and leaves and flowers. And then she's heavily pierced, and she also has one gold eye, one purple eye, just the opposite of what Rook has.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to do in this moment?
Yeah, I cast Disguise Self so I can look like the captain.
Okay.
And then I turn to Geet and go, see, it's really fucking easy. It could be anyone.
I'm
And then
gonna
I go
smack
back
his
to myself.
Did that captain look like the guy that Runt was talking to earlier?
No, to look like the captain that was in
Oh,
the
Shrasti. Shrasti
Yeah.
captain. Oh, okay.
I even have the slit where the cut would have been.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I mean,
Nice touch.
It's too much. This is too much. Look, I get it, or at least I think I do. But right now, there's just too much at stake. Help us help you. If you want this captain, we can find him for you. But right now, we're chasing a ship that has stolen 30 children. And I don't know what we're going to do when we get there. But I'm sure we can use any help we can get.
Oh, that got Bee's attention, and she's going to go 30. You said 30, right?
Yes.
And she's going to look over at Rook, and she's going to go, we got to help them. It's 30 kids. That's a lot.
I mean, technically, it's probably a little less by now.
Well, Rent, we don't know exactly how they got them on the boat. Remember, they had those mirrors. They could have used that to do something to the children because no one saw them leave. They just disappeared.
I guess it was.
well, and I'll grab the bottle out of Bee's hand. God, it's still really good, you know? You still get the same... Never mind. Yeah.
Excuse me, can I...
Pardon me, did you drink out of that bottle?
Yeah, but we have to figure out if that still has the stuff in it. Because she took a sip earlier, so I was wondering. And you didn't say
Oh, hang on. Did she take a sip earlier?
Yeah, they've been
she
drinking
did.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been passing it back and forth.
Yeah. Because I was wondering, when she took a sip, I was going to say, like, oh, wait, spit it out. We got to make sure that there... But then you didn't say anything, so I was like, oh, I guess it was put on the rim of the
I
glass.
guess it was in the rim of the glass.
Okay. I was very scared of that when you didn't say anything. I was like, waiting for it, and then you didn't say anything, so I was like, okay, we're safe. Good.
Okay.
Oh.
I mean, the captain drank the same thing. Their
Everybody
assumption it wasn't in the bottle.
got it. As you're enjoying this bottle, as you engage in some light conversation, Rogar, you are the only one that's up on deck except for Griffaro, and you've lost sight of Bilkhorn. A couple things are going to happen. First of all, I'd like the people in the cabin to quickly roll perception, and I would like, or give me your passive, that's fine too. And
I'll take
And-
that roll.
Yeah, I'll take the roll too.
I mean, my roll was just a little bit over my passive. I got a 13.
24.
Perception 26.
I have a passive of 15.
I'm so distracted by Rook
Run-
and all of his
yep.
tattoos.
Runt and Rook, specifically Rook, you you notice something kind of as you're moving your feet back and forth. It's a little sticky. And when you look down, you can see that a crimson puddle is coming through the bottom of the door that's been locked. Rogar, you are on the deck. Suddenly there is a noticeable panic from behind you. The man at the wheel suddenly calls up the captain. Captain, he says, and you can see that the wheel is free spinning. And he goes, the tiller line, it's been cut. The rudder's free. And the captain says, she says, drop sail. She says, gather it up. We have no rudder. She comes to the edge of the rail and she screams down to you, Rogar. Help them raise the sail. Help them get it up, Rogar. We have to spin off some speed, or we're going to lose control of the ship. She says, we've got no rudder. The next thing you see is 3 sailors struggling at the main line. So this is the line that will raise the halyard line, which will raise the sail up and take it out of the wind. And they're pulling as hard as they can, and they can't seem to make it come. They're having real trouble raising it. And you're there.
Okay. Well, I have the ability to pull really hard. So, yeah, with, excuse me.
Get the wind out of those sails, she says.
Nearly 500-pound draw.
You join them at the rope, and you pull. Just roll strength very fast for me, please.
18.
You feel the rope give slightly, just inches. And the men are looking at each other as you continue to pull. And then the rope comes free. Look out! They say, dexterity roll, please.
Dexterity saving throw.
Yes.
5.
You and 2 of the sailors are struck as the block and tackle, the halyard block, comes down and knocks all 3 of you to the ground. The one is killed instantly. The other one takes 16 points of damage. You are going to take 15 points of bludgeoning damage from this massive block and tackle that comes down off the masthead. You are, though, being you, still able to stay to your feet, okay? The captain says, Rogar, lose that sheet! That's what she screams at you.
How do I do that exactly?
Take down that sail, she screams. The injured sailor is now looking at the block and tackle, and he sees that there's a large iron spike jammed into its rolling mechanism. He pulls it out, and he looks at you, and he goes, "This was put here deliberately. We have to get rid of this sail, or we'll lose control of the boat."
Can I take it and throw it and pierce the sail?
Throw the spike, this little spike.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
And this sail is massive, remember.
18.
It punctures the sail and sends a 6-foot rip up it, but the sail is still catching lots and lots of wind. Not good enough, man, she screams. Cut it loose! And the one sailor's trying to jump up to this. It's about an 11-foot breach over the yardarm. He's trying to slash at it and free up some of the things. He's called some people to help, and they're trying to move barrels into the way.
Would Rook and B have felt this kind of lurching from the?
Oh yeah. It's picking up speed, and you can feel that the ship is sort of. It doesn't feel right to you.
Yeah. Just to jump in and really quick, I'm gonna take a quick look at B and be like, make a decision right now. Help or no help. Tell me what to do.
Help. Go.
I look again and like open that fucking door and I like start to run.
I open the door.
The sailor that had just left the room is crumpled at the bottom of the door with a cut from ear to ear. Razor perfect. You step over him.
Yeah, I yell back, handle this shit, and I keep running straight toward the if I can get outside as quick as possible.
Hey, you see what's happening. You see that the halyard block is down. This full sheet is in the wind. The captain looks down at you and she snarls and she says, "Help him cut that sheet loose."
Okay. I don't know if this will work, but I've got proficient in water vehicles, so Rook is gonna wink at the captain and immediately disappear and then reappear 30 feet above where the top of the halyard sheet is.
Yeah,
and
the
just
crow's
go
nest.
on the top of the sheet.
Okay. So you begin to cut free the main arm, and soon the top of the top that usually stays in place is now falling to the ground.
Or whatever action would have been the correct emergency.
Rogar, you now have a large mast arm falling at you.
Duck and cover!
One more dex check. There's 3 other sailors next to you.
Sorry.
14.
You are able to dodge free. 3 of the 4 sailors that have joined you are not. 2 are injured severely. 1 is killed, squashed by this thing. But there's a few other sheets. And Rook, with your sailing knowledge, you can see that the pilot has absolutely no control. The wheel's not moving the same direction as the rudder.
Would I know how to proper lash the rudder? So it's now I'm just going back to all of the sailing.
You would know that there's a mechanism underneath the deck, deep, like usually one floor below where you were in that cabin, and it is the tiller rope, and it will control the tiller, which controls the rudder, and it's what is moved when he spins the wheel.
Yeah.
It sort of extends to both sides of the boat, so pulleys and then stretches in, and then there's a tiller that is kind of down below.
So I know what's going on. I just don't have the ability to get to where I need to be.
You can run there.
I'll grab one rope, wrap it around the leg and the hand, slide all the way down the main mast, and start to make my way that way with where everyone.
Rogar, he lands next to you. You are freeing yourself from this fallen sheet. Pardon me. You dodged. He races past you.
You can thank me later.
Okay, the 3 of you see him, running back towards you, and then taking a hard right and heading down down to where the prisoners are currently being kept.
I'm following.
Okay, down you go.
I'm following too, I guess.
Okay, run.
I'm taking my boots off,
Okay.
where the weird stuff is, and then I'm gonna follow barefoot behind them.
Okay, and Rogar.
Continue to try and take some of the wind out of the sails.
Okay. Rook, you hit the bottom of the deck first. In front of you, there are 3 sailors that were guarding 12 prisoners. The 3 sailors are dead. The 12 prisoners are dead.
Ooh.
What?
Throats slashed, all of them. The tiller at the back in the gloom, you can see it knocking over to one side, and tiller ropes hanging looselessly from loose from the block and tackle on either side, having been slashed away from the tiller.
I'd turn to B and be like, you know I'm not strong enough for this shit. Let's fix this somehow. I don't know.
All right, let's go.
B, you can see that the orc that you were thinking of is lying face down in a pool of his own blood. Okay?
I'm gonna cuss under my breath and just go and start lashing ropes.
All right. You are able to pull these two ropes together, Rook, and with the piece of rope that you luckily took with you, you can makeshift, using your sailor ability to, your watercraft ability to tie knots, tighten them appropriately, and suddenly you hear very faintly, but with your elven ears you can hear it, "I've got control, Captain!" And you can see the tiller snap back, and you can see where the wheel is being maneuvered, and you even have the skill to trim it up a little bit for the gent before you leave. You take a breath, you turn around, and there is this carnage in front of you.
Are you guys collecting dead bodies or?
I'm looking around the room and just seeing if I could see anything unusual other than just dead bodies on the ground.
You see a little bit of you are all now in the room proper. You were the last one down the stairs, Run. Run, what you see is, and I'm going to say, Geen, you see this as well too. I'm going to say all four of you see this, just because there's sort of an open railing. You see Bill Corum sitting there on the stairs, and he just goes like this and holds up his straight razor,
Milk.
licks the blade, and runs upstairs.
I am going to kick the orc and run up after him.
Okay.
Samies.
Mad dash upstairs. Keen is there gobsmacked.
Yeah.
Do
So
I
you're standing still at this point?
do I
Yeah.
see
Okay.
him?
Yep.
Can I see him? So I'm going to cast Hold Person.
There it is.
So Wisdom 13.
Okay.
I trusted you, Bilk.
All you see is his shoulder as he heads up the stair. B, he's shedded your hold person. You are deeper into the hold. You're about, sort of 30 feet away from the edge of this thing. You've missed him with your hold person. He's shed it off, and he dodges up and through. Runt is giving chase.
I'm hauling
You're giving chase.
butt after him.
Rook,
If the knots of the thing
Yep.
are fine, then I'm doing the same.
you're giving chase. Rogar, you're up at one of the sails. You see Bilk race past you, right? And he sort of runs towards the forecastle where Griffero is. But you don't know anything has gone on just yet. Runt, you emerge from the cabin set onto the main deck. You see Rogar helping a sailor, now trying to retie what they had just untied as the pilot has control, and Rogar's taking directions. You're the first one out, Runt.
I'm looking for Bill Corn.
You see him at the forecastle at the very front of the boat, climbing the stairs and moving beside Griffero. Griffero's at the ballista still, sort of looking at the boat, and he sort of motions to Bilk, but then doesn't really give him a second look. And
I wanna
now
use-
Bilk is at the rail.
I'm gonna use Misty Step to jump 30 feet and get closer.
Okay, you are now at the base of the stairs where Bilk is. This is when the rest of you pile, with the exception of Geen, pile out onto the deck. Rogar, you're wondering what's going on here. You see, Runt, pamf, into the front of the boat, and whoop, back. And now she's at the front, near the stairs at the front forecastle. Griffero's kind of looking around, wondering what's going on, and Bilk is at the rail.
About how far away is the rail from us exiting the ship?
40 feet.
Sorry, 40
give or
feet?
take. Yeah.
Is Bilk wearing any kind of metal?
No.
My first opportunity, I'm going to use Misty Step for the last time I can.
Okay.
Try and get, if I can get next to him or in front of him or something.
Sure. In front of him at this point is the open air, right?
Gotcha.
Rogar, you're seeing all this go on. B, you're up now
Oh, how far away is he from me?
35 feet.
I'm going to turn myself invisible and use my thing to get right up next to him.
Okay, so you're going to be right
Yep.
next to Runt, more or less.
Like, turn invisible and just...
Yep, so
and-
that's your action.
Yep.
Okay, Rogar.
Brad's face was perfect.
Rogar's just like,
Yeah.
what is...
And so everyone seems to be turning invisible and or jumping
yeah.
through space and time.
Here-
For a party that hasn't had a lot of magic, you just had a lot of magic
Wha-
put on you.
What is going on? We're on the sails. And the crew's just like, shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, does it look like they're chasing him?
Mhm.
Okay.
Or everybody's piling to the front of the boat.
Yeah, one of the two.
Except for me.
Yeah.
Poor Geen.
He's just
I'll-
like,
Traumatized.
No, she has crumpled to the ground and is holding sobs, like
Aw.
holding her mouth and just trying to not sob, but failing miserably.
okay.
I'll let the sail go and let the sailors do their thing and start walking forward, very confused.
So you're like, what?
Yeah.
As you reach the base of the stairs, Griffero is kind of like also confused. Both Runt and B, we can't see B, you are now just feet away from Bilk, and you reach out. And he quickly, with the deftness of a gnome, hops up onto the rail, gives you one of these, and then plummets feet first into the water. Goosh.
I'm going to jump off after him.
Okay. That's his action. Your next action is to jump over the rail.
Yep.
Rogar, you see this. And now,
If I can get to the railing while that's happening, maybe, possibly 30 feet. Maybe.
you can get to the rail.
Yeah. Okay.
You can move to the rail, and you see Runt begins to start to dive off.
Yeah. So if
There's-
that happens, I'm
so
gonna.
there- Yep.
Okay, sorry.
Go ahead. Just make your last move.
I was gonna say, like, if I get to the railing and see them both diving into the water, I'm actually cast Featherfall on Bilk so that Runt gets in the water before him.
No, you missed him. He is in the water and swallowed up by the sea.
Oh, he's already there. Oh, okay, then I wouldn't cast it then. I didn't get to him before he hit the water. Okay.
Okay, and this is where we will stop.
Man.
No.
Probably should have held Runt back, but
If only that whole person gone through.
Right?
Next time, wait for the Bane. Wait for the Bane.
I wonder if it's really Bilk. I mean, because earlier, they thought the captain thought Rook had killed her, so unless it was Bilk that was doing that.
But imagine, like, disguised self can change height only so much.
A foot. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, this was. There's going to be lots of questions for next time.
Yeah.
No. go. 4 more hours. 4 more hours.
I got nothing to do tomorrow. Let's go.
That's funny. Man, so many questions.
So I would like to quickly invite everybody who's with us to go ahead, and we're going to hear from a good friend of ours as we start talking about beans.
Yeah.
It's time for the magic beans. Ho! It's time for the magic beans. Ha! Time for the magic. Time for the magic. Let's see who gets the magic beans.
4 new players today, or for 2 new players today, 5 total. So we're going to have a little bit of a runaround. Each of you, please think about whose play tonight was most inspiring to you, and that's who you will give your bean to. Remember that we will be reaching 10 beans to get inspiration at a time you're choosing, or to give it away. Meanwhile, we're going to have the people who've joined us on chat go ahead and vote. And we also have a little bit of an announcement to make. So let's first go around the table and see what you thought. Let's go in the same order in which we introduced ourselves, please. So Shady, take us away.
Okay. Well, I'd like to give it to Rogar because he was just stuck trying to hold this together. I'd like to give it to Geen because she's been traumatized. I'd like to give it to B as well, but I'm gonna have to give it to Rook for knowing what to do and making sure we did not lose the other.
Rook, there is your first bean.
Hey!
Okay. Luna.
Oh man, so much. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to give mine to B, because for as determined as she was to get at this captain as much as Geen knew, when she heard 30 children, she was like, okay, this is more important. We got to do this first. And she believed, as far as I know, she believed Geen. Like, she didn't even like question it. She just heard 30 children and was like, we're doing this now.
So there you go. Thank you, Luna. B, that's your first bean of the game, the B bean.
BB.
Brad.
I have to agree with accepting our cause of taking on children and not knowing anything about us and what we're trying to do, but the throwing themselves headlong into saving 30 children. I'm also going to give it to B.
Right on. So 2 for B, 1 for Rook. Now, Rook and B. Let's go with you first, Becca.
I have to give mine to Geen because I was not expecting her to come in the middle of a group of people and just be like, stop.
Okay.
Hey,
Geen.
when Rook gave her that Janesh, she was just like, switch.
Yeah.
So
It came
Geen,
between us and the pirates. So
right on. That'll take you to 6 there, Geen. And Noel, please.
Oh man, it's like all two. I'm on the fence with 2 because one of them was like just trying to keep all our shit together, and I got to give it to Runt though because that whole thing with the captain sword was like Avasti. I was like, oh,
I'm upset I didn't look for a hat.
I know.
But afterwards, I was like, oh, I should have seen if there's a hat.
All right.
We
There
got
we go.
another ship to catch up to.
Yeah.
Runt, that'll take you to inspiration plus 3. Cool. Okay. And when we go to the Twitch, it will go to... Yikes, I just lost it. The Banshee Bean goes to our man, Rook.
Hooray.
Okay, awesome. Great. Well, that is our first session with the 2 new people. So thank you very much, Becca and Noel, for joining us. That's really great. We are going to, I'm saying great a lot, as I'm struggling to quickly find the note for our last, for our dice giveaway.
Oh yeah.
1 minute. And as we roll the magic dice, it will fall to our man Trash Kaiser. So, Trash Kaiser, we are going to reach out to you and we are going to get your deets so that we can get you this lovely set, which I didn't use tonight. Kind of wish I had, of Banner and Chance dice. So that'll be coming to you in the mail as soon as we can make that happen. Anyway, thanks very much for the new fun, guys, and we'll see you again next week.
Thanks for having me.